Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition.
Okay, so before we actually welcome everybody to the show, I just want to point out the fact of how happy I am that StreamYard does not allow our camera to be shown while videos are playing because they would see the whitest of white boy dancing over here. Because I was just like, okay, now I guess they kind of saw it. Sorry about that, viewers.
Now they're seeing it anyways.
Yeah, now they're seeing it anyways.
Look
All
at
right,
you.
well, hey.
What they want.
Welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition, the show where our jokes miss the marks as if they were shot off by stormtroopers.
You know, on that note, part of the reason I was late is my husband had to tell me the joke that he had just gotten a phone call about. So would you like to know this joke, Tim?
We're already here. You might as well.
What's brown and rhymes with Snoop?
I think the obvious answer is poop, but I'm...
Dr. Dre.
Oh, Jesus.
Never go for
Okay,
the
John,
obvious answer.
you have a 10-minute banning for that because it was relayed through Kathleen. Yes, I am not in my man cave tonight, and I usually do wear a hat during the live show. In fact, it's right here, but I got warm, and then I got sweaty, and a sweaty Tim and a warm Tim is a cranky Tim. Don't worry, Kathleen's going to make up for my lack of hat.
It's hard to do with the headband, though.
Yeah, well, you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
So.
And the just massive amount of floof. Anyway.
Yes, 10 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Very much so.
Ooh. Still funny. Wasn't as funny as the joke I told you earlier today, but I am not telling that one on the air.
Kenzie?
Well, sometimes my mom watches this show.
Well, there you go. All I will say is, Kathleen's mom, get your dish soap ready.
I mean, she's the one that called John to tell him the Dr. Dre joke, so I guess it's not entirely. Anyway.
Oh, anyway.
Before we get into tonight's show and further off of our invisible rails, we need to say thank you to our show sponsor, Level Up Sabers. Alrighty, when Tim catches up after he's done glitching over there he is. That was weird.
Well, actually, I couldn't catch up, and I'll put those in the comments in just a moment because tonight's show is brought to you by Ice Cold Guinness, recently cracked and poured. And just so in case you're wondering, you can pour a full-on draft Guinness, but this one's a little overflowing actually. And the time it takes to run one Level Up Sabers video.
Oh, goodness. And once Tim gets to it after he enjoys the first part of his beer, because beer comes first, the links...
It was rather tasty.
It's Guinness. Of course it's tasty. Anyway, the links will be in our comment section and in our show notes when Tim gets to it. If not, you guys know where they are.
They're there. I was just taking an extra second to enjoy, the things.
If you weren't interrupting me for once, I was impressed.
Well, I was busy drinking, and that's how you get
tater tots, though.
Exactly.
Because Guinness goes with tater tots, and tater tots make Tim dance.
Why does it show just as Facebook user and not semi-famous host of Classic Conversations, Jeff Dwoskin? Well, Jeff Dwoskin, that's more of a problem on your end. You have to allow StreamYard to use your name, likeness, and all that fun stuff. And I don't know what was good to know, but they think it's good to know. Must be for the joke. I think it was for the joke.
No, I think it was for the fact that you could pour Guinness in the time it takes for the Level Up.
The time it takes in one commercial, yeah, you can do that. And Devin, this is as together as it ever gets. So if you haven't caught on to that by now, we're all in trouble. Yeah, he agreed.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I'm catching up. We're doomed when the blonde is the one catching on to things.
Well, this is true. All right, guys. One of the other things we want to point out that, as you see on the bottom of the screen, the little ticker going across the bottom, great bonus awaits you at great bonus content. How about that? Great bonus content awaits you at patreon.com. So if you guys haven't had a chance to already, there's a link down in the show notes down below. You guys can click onto our Patreon page. We have Stargate SG-1 reviews for you. We've got behind the scenes bonus footage for you. And if you haven't noticed already, Tim creates a lot of bloopers, and a lot of those bloopers are in there where you can watch me being a bigger idiot than what you see on the screen right now. And if you didn't think that was possible, trust me, it very much so is.
It's totally possible.
So yeah, but we have 5 levels of Patreon subscription ranging from $1 to $40, all with different levels of access and loot that comes free with your subscription at certain levels. So yeah, please check that out, and we look forward to that. Kathleen speaks Robert, or does Robert speak Kathleen? Either way. And we can see you now, Jeffrey. There it is. Jeffrey Dwoskin.
Welcome, Jeff Dwoskin, no longer anonymous Facebook user.
That's right. And more than just the semi-famous host of Classic Conversations. His show, by the way, was ranked #1 in TV and film interviews on Apple Podcasts right now. So, yeah, Jeff is shooting right up there. He's got some really cool guests coming up. And if you're a fan of 90s rock at all and the whole scene, he's got an interview coming up with Vernon Reid from Living Color. So, yeah. The song Cult of Personality.
Oh, that I do now.
Yeah, so it's
I know
very
songs,
cool.
I don't know bands for some reason.
My normal banter will be interrupted because I'm also playing Mario Kart with the Tiny Vibarian. Good luck with that. She's going to hit you a lot.
Have fun trying to beat my scores.
All right, guys, we've got people waiting in the back room. Kathleen, let's bring him in. Let's say hello.
All right, first out of the green room, as long as he hasn't run away yet, is Scott Curtis of the Behind the Bits podcast.
Hello, Scott Lee.
Hey, I'm sorry. I thought this was Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I think I might be in the wrong room.
I mean, my hair kind of looks like Conan. So.
It's reddish. It'll work.
For me. It's okay.
If we get it poofed up a little bit more, if you combine her hair with my hair, I get enough of the thing, we might be able to make it work.
Oh, I mean, I would totally show you what I did with my hair the other day, but then I know that those pictures would go everywhere, and I'm not ready for that yet. I figured out I could spike it.
Yes, Jeff, you are my #1 fan.
And sadly, he's plummeted to #2. I'm pretty sure you
dear.
Yes.
Who took that one spot?
Not me. I can tell you that much.
All right. Also, waiting in the wings to be welcomed into the show is Frank Duran of the Warp Shelf podcast.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back, Frank.
Hello. It's good to be back. 6th
time?
Yeah, this is, I think, the 6th time. Yeah.
And there wasn't almost a year in between this time.
Yeah. But me and Scott keep meeting like this. We got to stop this, Scott.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The last time you guys were on the show together, weren't you co-hosting with me when we interviewed Scott?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we went on Scott's show together. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot
that was back in 1906, I think.
just a week or two ago. Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal.
All right.
We're all still podcasting. That's a win. All right.
Wasn't March 2020 just like yesterday?
I try not to think about that. All right, we got one more person in the back room waiting for us, and that, of course, is the man, the one, the only, the wisest of us all, Wilfred Otero, or as we just like to call him because it's the smartest thing to do, WIZE, W-I-Z-E, from the Stuck in My Mind podcast. What is up, my buddy?
What's going on, man? How's everybody doing today?
Excellent.
Good. We're excited to be here.
Oh, right, I didn't know Jeff Dwoskin had a podcast.
You know,
nobody does really.
So well under wraps. Nobody knows that Jeff has a podcast.
We're not even sure how he got to #1 because nobody's heard of the damn thing.
Yeah, so. I know.
Not like he ever mentions it.
Nah, I got nothing but love for Jeff, man. Jeff is my buddy. We've actually got to hang out the last 2 Podfests. So
excellent.
Awesome.
All right, guys, before we jump into our topic tonight, we'll go across the screen here and give you guys each a minute to remind people of your show, even though we called it out when you came in. Remind people of your show and where they can find out more about you. Scott, let's start with you.
My show is called Behind the Bits. I interview comedians about making comedy, and we get in depth and talk about what goes on behind the scenes, how to get booked, how to write, how to perform, do all the stuff, nice personal stories. I am currently on hiatus, but I've got about 157 episodes sitting there that you can go back and listen to back episodes.
Excellent.
Would recommend. Very good show.
It's a very good show, especially, don't go into it thinking that you're going to hear a bunch of stand-up bits, because that's not the point of the show. But you have two comedians in the show. Trust me, they're going to tell some jokes from time to time, but it's not the whole point of the show. But so you get your laughs, you get your info. It's good times.
We have no comedians and we tell jokes.
Poorly. Let's stress that.
What are we talking about?
All right, WIZE, tell everybody about the Stuck in My Mind podcast. The only show to beat Out Focused on Forward twice.
I'll be beating it. Nah, just once. I didn't go the next year, I don't think. But
I didn't either. But I assumed you did, so that's why I said it twice.
No, I've been hosting Stuck in My Mind podcast since March 2020. It's been a great journey. I've made some amazing friends. I've made lifelong friends since I started my podcast. It's just been great, man, being able to have some wonderful conversations with some amazing people. I've actually had Tim on the show. We had a great talk. Love to have Scott on one day, and maybe Frank. I always love collaborating with fellow podcasters. So yeah, it's on all major platforms. You can go to www.stuckmymindpodcast.com.
Nice.
Very cool. All right, Frank, fill them in on the Warp Shelf Galaxy of Geekness.
Guys, if you haven't seen me the 6 other times I've been on the FSF podcast, I'm on their podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm Yep Frank. I'm / Yep Gundam. If you're into Gundam builds, you can look back there. And I'm the host of the Warp Shelf podcast, where we find out if things are worth going on your shelf, be that physical media or, in your mind. Our last episode was Barbenheimer, so go check that out. That just came out. I also put all that on galaxyofgeek.com. That's probably a lot easier to memorize than the Warp Shelf podcast or any of my usernames. So just go see the galaxyofgeek.com for all things geeky.
Excellent. All right, guys. Yeah. So links to their Facebook pages are in the show notes down below. You guys can go check out each of their stuff for each of their podcasts. So yeah, some good stuff. All right. So tonight, the topic is a game that we've played a couple other times and we've had a lot of fun with. It's not really a game. It's more of a conversation starter. We call it a game because, well, we're lazy and didn't want to really think of it. It's less words.
It's what you would put on a note card as a conversation starter for a first date.
Exactly. So we call this Character Drop. This is where we take a character from a sci-fi or a superhero or fantasy type show, and we drop them in a sitcom or a nighttime drama that they typically would not be in, and we tell you what show they're going on to, how it affects the show, how it affects the character, and all this other kind of stuff. If there's something, and if you changes the storyline and all that, that's fine too.
Should we give them the worst example? The one I used last show. I think Frank was on for the last time we played this, where I decided that we needed to put Deadpool in Grey's Anatomy.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were just going to use him as a permanent organ donor. It grows back.
They all have cancer, but don't worry, it grows back.
It's just a little bit of cancer.
All right, so here's an example as well for our listeners. So our producer John, Kathleen's husband, put this into our chat earlier. He said he wants to drop Batman into How I Met Your Mother. The twist is that Barney is Batman, and nobody knows because nobody knows what he did for work until the very last season of the show.
Yo, he's ruining our shit. How dare he? How dare he in the comments take my idea? I, of course, was going to throw him not in How I Met Your Mother, but replace Ross in Friends because
Oh,
Bruce
man, that's
Wayne
good too.
instead of Ross first off improves everything because Ross is
the
terrible.
worst.
But if you put Bruce Wayne in anything, really, it improves it. I think I was also thinking How I Met Your Mother, but I think Ross being replaced is a much better thing than Ted Mosby being replaced, even though they're both terrible main characters. But besides the point, so you replace him with Batman. Ross is already weirdly disappearing all day and all night, looking at dinosaurs, like boom, just Bruce Wayne looking at dinosaurs. It could work.
There you go.
And it would make more sense with the Rachel thing, like everyone's like, oh my God, Ross, like what?
Rachel and
John also said that it would make more sense and it would give more meaning to Barney saying "suit up."
Okay, I like that though. And then Val Kilmer's under the desk. He's like, suit up, then boom, right to the desk.
Exactly.
I love it.
All right, and one more example from John, because I thought this one was really good as well. He wants to take Daredevil and drop him into House MD because those two would drive each other absolutely crazy. House would say to Daredevil, "Well, you have awfully good reflexes for a blind man." And Daredevil would say to House, "I'm sorry, is that Vicodin on your breath?" So.
Okay.
So,
I thought John's name was Mario Kart.
He was.
Yeah,
this was from earlier this afternoon when he had time.
At what time was that today? 11:30 this morning.
Oh, it was 11:30 this morning. Yeah, I would say it was much earlier today when he had. Well, he was supposed to be working, but that's a whole.
Right. But I mean, 11:30 is his lunch break, so.
Oh,
the juices are flowing, coming up with
break.
ideas,
Lunch break. Very good.
Okay. Makes a dime. That's why he on company time. I mean, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right. So, Kathleen, we're going to have you get started. We're just going to go right around the screen and I'll end us up.
Lordy.
You start, I'll end.
Okay. So I had a couple of different options and I'm not entirely sure. I didn't make like a big elaborate storyline with these this time. However, I do think that, Wonder Woman is tired. Wonder Woman has decided that she's done with trying to save the world and she has decided to retire to sunny Florida. And she is now living with the Golden Girls and enjoying her cheesecake.
I am totally fine with this. This sounds great. Like
she has
so far, I see no problems.
She has decided that she's going to be one step away from Shady Pines, but why not go live with Blanche and Dorothy and Rose and Sophia and just enjoy her golden years in peace.
We already have the Harley Quinn animated show. This doesn't seem like much of a reach from the ridiculousness that happens during that show. Like, I feel like
no, they're adjacent to each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's an acceptable amount of sarcasm from both that would work out well, I do believe, for both of those. All right,
I love it.
I think she would pull out. I think she'd pull out that lasso of truth thing because Dorothy lied a lot.
That's true.
This is also true, yes. So yeah, that would probably happen.
Can you imagine Wonder Woman trying to sit there through one of Rose's stories? Just get to the point. Just
lasso of truth. Get to the point, Rose.
About the herring. Oh goodness. So yeah, that was my top one. That was my first choice.
It's a good one.
All right, go ahead and share your second one if you want.
My second choice, I actually was just thinking about this as we were starting the show, of how funny it would be to put Daredevil in Night Court.
I mean, that's already the 70s like Hulk episode where Daredevil shows up. That's
true.
That is what that episode is. Where they were like, "Yo, it's Daredevil in Night Court." Like, and if you haven't watched all the crazy like Thor, Daredevil episodes of the Hulk show, they're absolutely worth it just for the costumes, but also for the fantastic, ridiculous dialogue.
Oh yes, for sure.
All right.
But yeah.
So he wouldn't be replacing Dan. He would be replacing what's her name? Christine, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's a public defender.
Yep.
And I think they were bringing back Night Court.
They did.
They did.
It get rebooted? Okay.
Yeah, they rebooted it. It's had one season. I don't know that it's going to get a second one. It wasn't that great.
It was okay, but
yeah,
it was a little bit difficult to for me anyway. Watching it was a little bit difficult to separate the actress. I cannot think of her name, but she played Bernadette on Big Bang Theory.
Melissa Rauch.
Yeah.
Melissa Rauch, because she's then playing the judge, and that was a little hard to look past for the first couple episodes at least.
I was expecting her to have the Bernadette voice, even though I know that's not her real voice, and I know that's a voice that she used for Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a character voice. I totally know that, and I knew that going into the show. But when she first opened her mouth, I was like, "Wait a minute."
Wait a minute.
I don't know if I'm okay
right.
with this.
The voice is wrong.
Yeah, and they brought back John Larroquette, but he doesn't, as Dan. But he doesn't play the prosecuting attorney. Now he's now he's the public defender. It's weird. I don't know.
I will watch anything with John Larroquette in it, so that won me over. But
well, yeah, John Larroquette's pretty awesome in of itself. So, and I tried, I tried watching a few episodes. I think I got through like 3 or 4, and I don't remember me feeling that there was any reason to go back for episode 5. So
the only reason why Night Court worked was the guest appearances before anyways.
Uh-huh.
Like it was just the fun of like, hey, we took a celebrity and now they're in a court drama. Whoop. It's very Law and Order, where it's like, all right, we're gonna shoot Justin Bieber this episode. Ready? Let's go. You know, like
it was just without the
great episode. Great episode.
All right, very cool. Scott, what do you got? What's on your character drop docket?
Well, first of all, I think we need to adjust our definition of a superhero, because mine's going to be a little bit different.
All right.
Because I don't do all the superhero sci-fi stuff as much. However, I am watching the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I really love it. So I'm on board with that. But my superhero is Agent Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks.
Nice.
Because he is a superhero.
Yeah, he is.
And instead of replacing somebody, he's going to drop in for 3 episodes of Yellowstone. And the reason why is because, Bob from the Black Lodge, the evil entity, he's pretty sure he possessed one of the guys on the ranch. So he's coming in as a ranch hand and working the ranch. Rip Wheeler takes an instant disliking to him because he's so happy. Just so into coffee and pie that he just hates him, gives him all the terrible jobs. And even when he's shoveling horse crap, he's still smiling, having a great time. And then, of course, Kim Dutton falls in love with him. And that makes Rip mad at him.
Of course.
And it's just a big thing. He does find Bob at the end of the 3rd episode that he's on, extracts him from the dude he was in, and rides off into the sunset and leaves Kim just crying, just sobbing. And I think it's a perfect little guest thing, a perfect subplot, and there you go.
I'd watch that. I would buy whatever streaming service has that. Yeah, absolutely.
In the words of Ken Young on the show, the Community, I'll allow it.
And no matter what he does, he's still wearing the suit. Yeah. So he's shoveling horse crap. He's still wearing the suit.
That was always dedication to me for every one of those episodes. Him just full suited for everything.
Yeah.
You're like, that gotta get warm.
Yeah, we're pretty loosey-goosey around here with the rules of this stuff anyway. So, he
does some pretty spectacular things. He
does.
It's our show. We make our own rules.
He spent 25 years in the Black Lodge. I mean, just for that, he should be considered a superhero.
Yeah,
and he came out through an electrical outlet.
Sci-fi, so he falls into sci-fi. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, there you go. Now it's not even wedging him in. He just kind of slides right in and right into the spot. So
right, it's either aliens or dimensions. So it's some
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
All right.
And I am wearing my David Lynch shirt.
And I love the directed right there on the mic. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well,
my life is directed by David Lynch.
I saw that on a meme the other day where somebody put that on their window because they said every time they looked out their window, it explained what was going on in the world.
Yeah, I saw that one. I love it. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's pretty rough. But it makes sense.
You could probably put it above your television. You could just put it right there, and you're like, turn on the news now? All right.
Exactly. All right. Well, very cool. All right. Frank, I know that John kind of, tiptoed through your tulips at the beginning there, but if you've got something else you want to share.
Like last time, I have so much in the chamber. Like you said the idea, and I was like, okay, all right, let's go. First off, I of course went to IMDb's top 250 movies of all TV shows of all time, because you got to see what the greats. And right now, Chernobyl is sitting at number 5. And you got to say, you throw Superman in, not much of a show, but it could be a good time. Right? Basically, Superman just solves it, but it could be a really good 5-minute maybe episode. Cuts that whole show down to maybe 5 minutes, but it would be a good time. You're like, everyone's screaming at Russian at him, and he doesn't know what they're saying. He just picks up the core and leaves. Like it could work. They're like, it's melting. He's like, like that's it. Not that bad. Pretty easy. But then again, what I was thinking about is that more Batman stuff, because you know me, baby. I love my Batman.
Yes, you do.
Is that number on the IMDb's top 250 TV shows is number 9, The Sopranos. And of course, I don't want to replace a character. I want to add one. I want Sopranos versus Batman. I want that movie. I want the long Halloween with the Sopranos against him. Like that sounds great. Like Tony gets up in the middle of the night. He opens the fridge, grabs the gabagool, he closes it. Batman's behind the fridge. And he's standing right there, and he's like, "Hey, Tony." And and then he hits him against the wall, and he's like, and Tony immediately says, "Not the gabagool." Leave the gabagool alone.
Oh goodness.
So I mean, I could keep going with this, but I feel like if you that could actually be something good. Actually, it could be like a well-tuned thing, but it's a good time.
So I'm going back to the Superman thing. So Superman grabs a core, he takes it to outer space, he comes back, and the Russians say, "Want core back." It's the people's core. Can't you just fix it and put it back?
No.
Right? Like, could he laser it like fast enough in space that it spins enough to be cooled down? ? And then he can just bring it back. Like
he could just blow on it, right? He's got the super frosty breezy thingy.
I mean, if he just flew in circles around it fast enough, he could cool it down.
That's true. He only uses that one time, but it's a pretty good trick.
Spinning's always a good trick.
Ask any figure skater. It's a good trick.
Ask any minor child in a starship as well.
I mean, is he wrong?
Yeah.
At that point in his life?
Yes, he's wrong.
All right, so a follow-up to your Sopranos thing.
Good.
Okay, so instead of having Batman come in, I would want Tony Soprano replaced by Kingpin fighting with Daredevil.
I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with it.
It's not that big of a jump from what they're already do, but it's just in the Sopranos setting. Like Kingpin goes home to Tony's family, and he is Tony Soprano. He is the Kingpin,
Right. And instead of his dead family, he's like, leave me alone. I eat what I need,
What if Batman was Paulie?
Yes, that could work.
Yeah, they take him out. They take him out on the boat, and he's like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna happen."
This ain't going.
he pulls out that batarang or whatever and does some stuff with it.
Very, you know. It could work.
Hey, again, I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
There's no our rules.
And last, the stupidest idea I had, but probably the simplest. At number 21 on the IMDb top 250 list, there is Sherlock, which is a great show. Everyone should go watch Sherlock.
The one with Benadryl Cucumber Snatch?
But I wanted a sci-fi one, so replace them with Spock as Sherlock and Kirk as Watson, and we have a good time, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, this could work.
Yeah.
Okay, but which version of Kirk and Spock are we including?
Of course, the originals. Or we just do young but old, really old Kirk, and I think that would also work, you know? Like, bring in Zachary Quinto or the new guy playing him on Strange New Worlds, and then we just bring in Shatner, you know? Because, you know, it's hard to replace Shatner, you know? Like, I mean, I love Chris Pine. Hey, don't get me wrong.
What
I don't want to hate
you doing,
comments.
Sherlock?
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, Jude?
So
Welcome
you
to the
guys
show.
are all youngsters, but the guy who plays Spock on the new show is Gregory
Ethan.
Peck's grandson.
Yeah, Ethan Peck. He does an amazing job.
Is it really? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did I not realize that? He looks
I
like
was-
him. What?
He does. He looks like him.
Wow. Okay.
I was
Gregory
not when the very first episode came out and shirtless Spock came out. I was not prepared for Spock pecs.
Ooh.
You weren't prepared.
Yeah, Spock was all ripped and buff, and I'm like,
You're like,
Well,
oh
that-
no, I'm slipping into Pon Far right now. Oh no.
that's right. That Vulcan did not skip chest day, so
I know everyone was so mad about that episode, but I was like, my man, you know, like I
Right?
was like, finally, you know, like.
right. Yeah,
If I look like that, I'd never wear a shirt.
Right.
I'd be walking around being like, "How you doing? Yeah, good. Yeah."
Standing on the bridge, shirtless, just like, Captain, these signals are coming in quite strange.
Body paint and the Star Trek insignia just taped to his chest. Yeah.
Pike is just constantly put a shirt on.
As he tries to avoid the air vent so it doesn't mess up his hair. I have to admit that I am, and we'll get to WIZE in just 1 second. I have to admit I am very much enjoying Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I was not a big fan of Star Trek before this show. I very much enjoy Star Trek now.
Both of you, both Scott and Tim, being like, "Oh, Strange New World, it's fantastic. It's always been fantastic, my friends. You can go back. It's beautiful the whole way."
Yeah.
Except, well, maybe not the original. Next gen and on. It's really great. You can do it. Like,
I'm actually going through a Star Trek. I can't call it a rewatch. A Star Trek watch. I'm in almost the end of season 1 on Next Gen. I got into season 2 of the original series, and I tapped out. I was done.
Yeah,
I could only take so much. I could only take so much William Shatner, and I was like, okay, and moving on. But I have to say that not only do I enjoy Strange New Worlds, but I absolutely freaking adore Lower Decks.
oh my God, Lower Decks is fantastic.
It's amazing. And the crossover a couple weeks back, the special episode, those old
Everyone was
scientists.
losing it about that. I
And they
haven't
did.
seen
It's
it
a
yet.
perfect episode. Oh my, you haven't?
I haven't yet. I'm not caught up, so I'm very behind.
All right, he's got to go, so he needs time to be able to watch his shows. Just kidding.
Got booted.
Happens to the best of us.
Hey, I've seen every other Star Trek show, so let's talk then, Tim. Okay.
Okay, you can tell you what, you can boot me off your show when
Yeah, bring me on to talk Star Trek. That'll be a good time.
There you go. All right, WIZE. Let's hear what your character drop is, my man.
Oh man, I don't know. I was thinking, but I kept bringing them up through our whole conversation, so it's kind of. But I was thinking about dropping
Replace
Okay.
just as part of it, or
Yeah, as part of it. Him and Mark battling for Mindy. Yeah.
Oh, battling for Mindy.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. But is it the new anime Superman from My Adventures with Superman, or is it what Superman are we talking here?
See, that's the one I was thinking. I was debating. I think I'm gonna go with. Oh man.
I'd go with the time period and go with Christopher Reeve personally.
I mean, yeah,
that would be a good choice. That would be a good choice.
There's a reason why he was the first, you know.
Yes.
I mean, not the first. I mean, there's a guy way back in the day, but
not the first, but he was the first.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, first like feature-length movie. Yeah.
I mean, because I can just see because now in my head, I can just see those two going after Mindy, but you know he's as Clark Kent, you know. So I wrote an article today, and I want to talk to you about that, and you know, I just
Yeah, no, I think it would be.
You know, investigate Clark Kent investigating the alien that's living on their planet. Oh my God.
that would actually be really great. Clark Kent's like, I've heard there's aliens. Like,
right? Yeah, because now, WIZE, that's all I can think of now is that Clark Kent's going to be he's on this hunt. Yeah, he's on the hunt for these the alien investigation. He's got to find him.
While we're on this, we should just drop the Men in Black into Morton Mindy. Like, just drop him in.
Oh, that would be cool too, though. Yeah.
And Kay show up at the door, you know, like.
Yeah. And Alf. I think Alf should be part of this.
Oh man, can you imagine Men in Black with Alf? They would be so
good. Oh, that would be so cool.
Instead of the talking pug, rather have that be Alf, but he goes everywhere with him.
I'd be for it.
Yeah.
That would get me to watch Men in Black 4, 5. What are we on now?
Right. I think there's 4 of them because there was the first 3, then there was Men in Black International that didn't have Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Yeah, which I don't
and therefore sucked.
Yeah.
And but yeah, because you know, then he would go hunting after the cat who had the universe on his collar and you know. Oh man, that could be fun. And more could be Agent M.
Yeah, that could work. They finally like bring him in. Or like, all right.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so much fun.
I feel like we would get that sort of Men in Black movie nowadays, but we couldn't have back in the 90s, you know, like it's just like they had some crossovers in Men in Black, but nothing like they could have done now, you know.
Nothing as a no.
You know, like Space Jam 2 being there, being like, let's shove everything in this. Like,
you were famous for 5 seconds. Come make a cameo.
Yeah, come on quick. But before we move forward, I did bring up My Adventures with Superman. And if you're not watching My Adventures with Superman, please do. It's the best Superman cartoon we've had since the Superman animated show, and it's just fantastic, totally just full of joy. And that seems like something this audience would love.
I just signed back up for Max, so just got my subscription back going. So I added that to my watch list today. In fact,
it's
so
great.
That's
the cast is fantastic.
Okay, very cool. Who's voicing Superman in it?
Jack Quaid, the guy from The Boys.
Huey.
Yeah,
Jack Quaid.
He's
Boimer.
Perfect. He's perfect. The man is somehow so Clark Kent by voice wise. You're like, I love this. It's great.
Boimler is Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Oh no.
His name is Huey.
My man Boims is Soups. All right.
Oh man, you can't use the phrase soups and no. Too many brain crossovers. You're hurting my head.
Oh, you'll be fine. Soups.
I will not. There's also a Cotton Eye Joe spider over here.
She's fighting
Where did he go?
life over there. We're trying to have an episode, and she's absolutely kung fu fighting. Like,
I got my fly swatter back. I don't know where he went. Showed up on my desk, and then he disappeared.
All right, WIZE. You have anything else to add to that, or is?
No, that's about it.
All right, man. That's a good one. I like that. The thing I like especially about yours is that there is so many different things that we could add in on top of that to like just It was like, here's the cherry on top, and here's the whipped cream, but here's another little cherry, and yeah, that was good stuff. Okay.
Well, and when we mentioned Tommy Lee Jones, I think we should do a show where we just put Tommy Lee Jones in other shows because it makes it better and grumpier at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? No, I'd be okay with that.
The same way that they change, they're like, hey, replace everyone in a movie except for one person with Muppets. And you should do that with probably every Tommy Lee Jones movie. I would love to see Tommy Lee Jones against any of the Muppets.
We do that. We call it Muppetize a movie.
Yes. Muppetize
and so we'll Muppetize a movie. We've done that a couple times. That's fun. So we got a Tommy Lee movie. All right. But we got to be careful that Pamela Anderson doesn't show up. She might get confused. All right. Anyway,
Muppetize a Tommy Lee movie. You just have to choose a Tommy Lee movie.
Yeah, do not Google
it. They only did one movie together, and it wasn't. It's not safe for kids.
Oh boy!
Anyway, Google it.
Your Google history will be forever stained, forever unclean. All right. All right, guys. So here is my character drop. I went with. Do you guys remember the show from? Oh goodness, when did it come out? It was first episode was in the early '80s. It was called Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Before he went bat crap crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole premise.
Carlton's in that too.
What's that?
Carlton.
Yeah, Alfonso Ribeiro was definitely in the show. Yes. So the whole point of this show was the show about a father who had a son he didn't know about that just magically showed up at his door when he was about 12 years old. Okay, and so the father was going to send him off to boarding school, but the child convinced him to let him stick around, and then he spoiled him with everything he had because the father was a well-to-do business owner, and they had lots and lots of money. So therefore, silver spoons.
Oh, a little Richie Rich, sort of.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was a what happens when you tell your classmate that it's okay to copy your work, just change the title. So
how do I sign up for an ad like that?
Yeah, I didn't get one like that either, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so I am going to replace the dad whose name was Edward Stratton III with Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne's getting placed into a lot of things.
Well, hear me out. All right, so in the show, there's a comic, and I don't remember the name of the movie. It was an animated Batman movie where he didn't know that Bruce Wayne, Batman, did not know that he had a son with Talia al Ghul, whose name is Damian Wayne. Damian shows up and convinces dad not to ship him off to a boarding school or anything like that, but to let him stick around and become Robin.
Oh my God. You're so right.
And in the show, Edward's secretary, his name is Kate, who was played by Aaron Gray back in the day. So that would be Talia. Talia would become his secretary. She's still love struck. She's still sticking around, because she wants to keep an eye on her son. And yeah, so there's a little bit of a love triangle there. Her dad hates Bruce because he doesn't know that Bruce is Batman just yet. And even though her dad was Ra's al Ghul, and they pretty much know each other. Anyway, Raish, I call him Raj. I say what I want to say. You're not the boss of me. Anyway.
No.
But yeah, so eventually the son becomes Robin. They go off fighting together, and the one problem I have here out of everybody that's in the main cast is I could not figure out what to do with Alfonso Ribeiro as what DC character to bring him in as. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to leave him in there as his main character because he was comic relief in the first show. He's going to be comic relief in this show. And he can dance. So there's that.
What you need.
That's what I'm
I think I might bring Hugh Laurie as House in as him.
Yeah, and another thing that adds greatness to any show, Hugh Laurie. It's like add Batman to any show, it adds great. Add Hugh Laurie to anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you listened?
I love this idea because James Gunn is working on the Brave and the Bold movie, which is just that. He's supposed to be growing, like raising Damian Wayne for that movie, and they could just steal this idea. They could.
The Brave and the Bold has given me so much hope as to where Batman can go.
Yes.
But I am so scarred by the DCEU that I'm a little nervous as to what's coming up.
We've proven tonight Batman can go anywhere.
He can go anywhere. Batman can do anything. All right, guys.
With enough planning,
absolutely. Quick reminders for you guys before we're going to jump into some final thoughts and notes here. Let's go in reverse order. WIZE, remind everybody where they can find Stuck in My Mind and why they should be listening to you.
You can find Stuck in My Mind on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple, Google, Podbean, YouTube at Stuck in My Mind Podcast, and go visit the website at www.stuckinmymindpodcast.com. And it's just, I just have some great conversations with some amazing people. I have coaches, entrepreneurs, and fellow podcasters. So it's just a good conversation piece, and hopefully people get some great information from my guests. And I just love doing it because it's something positive, man. I just wanted to put some positive content out there and just
there you go,
provide people with some great information.
One of the things I do love about WIZE's show is that no two episodes are the same. He's got such a variety of different guests that come on. Different topics are talked about. One show is about health, mental health, and wellness. The next show is about how to grow your business. Next show is about why this team was the best team of whatever year and in whatever sport. I mean, just saying, there's no boundaries to the show, and I really do like that. It's a show about absolutely everything, and so if you like shows with meandering topics and conversations that are top notch, because it's not the same 3 questions every show, go check that out. So, all right, Frank, hit him up.
You can check out the Warp Shelf podcast on GalaxyGeek.com or any podcast platform. I'm serious. If I'm not on something, let me know because I'll get on there. I'm making it happen. You can also watch our beautiful faces on YouTube on the Galaxy of Geek YouTube. So you can just type in Galaxy of Geek. No, we're not Geek Galaxy. We're Galaxy of Geek. It's there. You can see it. There's another tube guys. They try making it, but we're way better. If you like deep form film conversation, that's what we're for, because that's what me and my buddy who went to film school, that's what we've been podcasting about for years and years and years, over 10 years. And now we've got this show, the Warp Shelf podcast, for about 3-4 years now. And it's a good time.
Excellent. Very good. And Scott.
Well, I reckon if you type Behind the Bits into a search bar, you'll probably find either my podcast or somebody else's, and you might like it.
That's the best plug I've heard. I'm a little off tonight because I'm worried about my cell phone battery, and I don't know when you're supposed to start worrying about your cell phone battery, but at about 85%, I'm like in a cold sweat. And then when it gets down to 70%, I'm going to T-Mobile and just getting a new phone because I just can't. Now it matters if you got an iPhone or an Android. That's what matters.
Well, it's always Droid for me, baby.
Yeah, it is. The Droids, that last 10% of battery, I gotta say, that will last you weeks. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens with that battery, the magic.
Yeah.
The last 10% of an Android phone will last you days. And you're like, what's happening? This should be dead. What's going on?
And my son sends me screenshots. My son sends me screenshots all the time, and I see his battery is at 7% most of the time. And I text him. I say, "Are you okay? Are you like in the woods?
Are you okay?
Are you not 10 feet from a charger?"
You'd be crying then right now. My phone's at 42%. So,
mine's at 84, but it's plugged in. So,
dear. Goosebumps.
I was at 8% before the show started, sitting at 60. But it was close before the start of this. It was very close.
All right, I guess guys. I'm at 90, so.
Oh, that man is living.
He's living. You guys are show-offs. That's what you are.
I was at 67 when we started, but because I'm also watching the show on YouTube, I have it plugged in so that it didn't drain my battery.
There you go. All right, so yeah, guys, remember that down in the show notes down below, we've got links to these three guys' Facebook pages for their podcast. Please go give their shows a follow. We bring these guys on here because not only are they great friends of the show, but also because they're amazing podcasters and we appreciate what they do. And so we're trying to introduce them to our audience. We're hoping that you guys will check them out as well.
I'm hoping we can steal some of their audience. I mean,
or something like that. So, and if you haven't by now, please click like and subscribe down below. That's going to help us to continue to grow. And what happened last week, Kathleen?
What happened last week? Who knows? But you want me to read the little thing? I could do that.
I was trying to give you a segue, but
it was almost smooth. It would have been if I had decided to be a butthead. If I had gone with it, I totally could have. But instead, I decided to be mean because it's fun. Oh, but last Friday, like Tim was trying to get me to cooperate with, but he should know better by now, we aired our interview with F.J. DeSanto, writer and producer of several Transformers series, as well as a major Star Wars fan. We threw some Star Wars trivia at him. Check it out to see how good he does. And you can still find that episode of the FSF PopCast on our YouTube channel and on your favorite audio podcast provider. Every time I'm on here, every guest is impressive. You guys show off at the end of the episode. I'm just like, you got this guy? How do you do that?
He emails them until they say yes, because otherwise he won't stop.
Dear God, just leave me alone. Fine. I'll come on your show.
But at least now he's, emailing their PR agents. Not their close relatives. Anyway, remember that your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help, so please don't forget to click like and subscribe as you watch our videos. It's never going to get old, Tim.
No, I'm saying that's a story of an email gone wrong. that email went rogue real fast.
It was Will Wheaton's birthday yesterday, too.
Yes, it was. So, in the early stages of podcasting, I did not understand email etiquette. And fellas, if you're running a podcast and you're trying to reach out to somebody, go directly to that person or their agent. Don't go to their wife and ask them to be like, can your husband come out and play? She had every right to get upset with me, and I accept the fact that she did, and I quickly and overabundantly apologized. But yeah. So anyway, there's that.
Did you get her husband?
Oh yeah, Will Wheaton been on the show.
Oh,
but it wasn't for quite some time later till she forgot who we were. I think it was after right around the time of the name change of the podcast from Funny Science Fiction to FSF, because I was like, well, I don't know who that guy was. Anyway,
science fiction at that point.
Yeah, I don't know who that loser was.
Oh no, Tim! That Tim was our other crew.
Oh,
this
it's
is our
another Tim. He's been let go. Don't worry. This is a
we just have a closet full of Tims.
The one who sent those emails has been sacked.
Yeah.
All right.
After the move bit hit Easter.
Exactly. All right. So last Friday we talked with FJ, like she said, amazing interview. FJ has got a wealth of Star Wars information. I'll just give you a bit of a spoiler. He absolutely crushed our Star Wars trivia. The only one who's done anywhere near that good was Sam Witwer. That's how good this guy is with his Star Wars knowledge.
Wow.
Anyway, this upcoming Friday, we have, if my keyboard was turned on and working, we have Corin Nemec from Parker Lewis Can't Lose and Stargate SG-1. Yeah, so he played Jonas Quinn in Stargate SG-1 for about 30 episodes. So we're excited. We have him coming on the show. We talk about his time, how he got started in the business, how that led to him going to Parker Lewis Can't Lose, what it meant to be on that show, the style of set that was on, and all that type of stuff. We talk about SG-1. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Not to mention that day he had not that day, but like a little bit before that, him and his fiance had just gotten a corgi puppy. I'm a corgi dad. And we, so we were sharing pictures, and I don't remember if this was when we were actually recording or not, but we were showing pictures back and forth, and he brought his corgi in, picked him up to show to the camera. I showed him pictures of our little girl named Toast, and a whole lot more. But however, if you don't want to wait till Friday, by Wednesday at lunchtime, by worst, you typically, we have the shows uploaded, both audio and video, on our Patreon channel for early access to our Patreon subscribers. For as little as 3 George Washingtons a month, you could be subscribed and getting early access and some other fun stuff as well. And one of the things that we're going to be start doing soon with our Patreon channel as well, we're going to start some Ask Me Anything live shows, which we're hoping to have a great user turnout and talk to you guys, and just you guys can ask us whatever on your mind. Why you shouldn't email Will Wheaton's wife, if that's the question, whatever else it might be. But yeah, so last Friday, FJ DeSanto. This Friday, Corin Nemec. And Corin's a really cool dude, and I look forward to talking to him again. Hopefully soon. There was so much to talk about with his career that we couldn't put it all into one episode. So we're hoping that we can, after this one airs, that we'll be able to get him on for a second time after the writers and actors strike is over and the studios pay their workers what they are worth. So anyway, that is the wrap. That is everything. Any final thoughts, comments, or are we just saying goodbye?
I love the fact that I'm able to, I use StreamYard, so the fact that I was able to share this with my audience, I love that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing that StreamYard's adding, that each one of your guests can share it up to, I think up to like 3 places now. At least one, but I think 3. So it's kind of cool. So if you have a guest that's coming, if you're using StreamYard and you've got guests coming on, make sure that they know that they can share the stream as well, because not only does it help their presence, but it helps you as well. So. And I see one of you shared it, so thank you to whoever shared. That's awesome. I think it was WIZE.
Yes.
So, which is probably why you brought it up, but to let me know that you shared it. But yeah. See, I'm not completely dumb. I get things sometimes. All right.
Sometimes you're smart. Every once in a while, the hamster on the wheel up there is actually making some.
There you go, Jeff, he's watching on WIZE's feed. I see how it is, Jeff. Awesome. I see how it is. My Facebook friend too, but can you watch on my feed? No. I see how it is. No, it's cool.
I'm watching it on our own YouTube channel.
They all count. That's all I care about. They all count. It's not from the same IP address. Haha, YouTube. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, WIZE. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, ×7. And because that's how many times he's been here, 6 or 7, something like that.
6. Yeah.
Anyway, 6 or 7.
Well, we'll ×7, so you at least have one more time you get to be on here.
Good.
There you go.
Before
Very good.
I'm killed.
We're gonna be positive here.
I make no promises, Frank. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.